YouTube, hello, welcome on in. My name is Chris.
I'm Johnny.
We are your number one entrance for sports entertainment content here on YouTube. Back again, 2 days out from Wembley, doing predictions of the card, talking the whole stack of everything. What do we think will happen? What we hope will happen? What we hope doesn't happen?
Who may come back, who will, show their silly little heads once again in AEW, because we got
Yeah,
a lot of people that are coming and going, and we don't know which will appear
yeah.
over in London.
So we are, for sake of, we are recording this Friday night, August 23rd. So
11:25 EST, 9:25 Mountain Time.
correct. So obviously Collision has not aired, although it's been pre-taped, and we have looked into the results just for the sake of being able to talk about one match in particular that involves the main event of Collision is a contenders match to determine something for All In.
Yes.
So mild Collision spoilers for the weekly watchers.
Yeah.
But aside from that, everything else is already, pretty much well set in stone at this point. So, yeah, I don't think there's too much admin to do ahead of time. I think it is mostly just start with the top of our list and just start going through them, eh?
Yeah. As we delve into Renee Paquette and then RJ City, rambling and gambling, letting us know what the card is, how London is looking, and probably other correspondence. We do have a pre-show match, and it's a very exciting one, honestly.
I'm one of the people in this match. I look at this, I'm like, you're gonna die.
What do you mean? Ishii's gonna be fine. Oh, you're
Yeah,
implying
yeah.
you're implying
So
the other gentleman.
so 0 Hour, the one match we have on 0 Hour, Willow Nightingale and Tomohiro Ishii, the Stone Pitbull, versus Chris Statlander and Stokely fucking Hathaway. Who in their right mind thought Stokely could take on Ishii? What?
I do have respect for Stokely because again, he's doing his yearly match. Let's be honest.
True.
Since he's been AEW, he has done a match. He has bumped. He has wrestled. He has, been
Yeah,
physical. But man,
but bumping's one thing. To get chopped by Ishii, you're insane. There's
yeah.
no way.
I think realistically, you have to give this to Willow and
Oh
Ishii.
yeah.
Even if it was like Statlander and another competitor, I think this is a Willow match that Willow needs to get back on the horse. You could run Stat and Stokely against any other like face in the women's division, and then you have them crush, you have them squash. It'd be easy. But I think Willow for the latter half of the year, because we have 3 months left, needs this win just to get back on the horse. And based on a few matches that go this way during this card, I can see a few matches banging out, and she gets another title match and gets a very fun and competitive wrestler.
I had this thought cross my mind as soon as we started talking about this. What if this is also being set up this way to write Stokely out of Stats Corner for a little while? Because Ishii's just going to like full body cast him basically.
I also imagine that Willow is also going to get her hands on Stokely full on.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's aggression both ways is the biggest thing.
There's got to be a lot of shenanigans of like, there's going to be so much ref distracting so that they can get the hits in on who they want to get their hits in on.
Yeah.
So I think it'll cook. I'll hopefully be awake for it because of the fact that All In starts at 10 a.m. 10 in the morning my time. So I'm getting up at like 9 to get ready. So
If anything, I'll message you beforehand, like, hey, Chris, guess who won? And
yeah.
then, run down everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Because I imagine pre-show is going to be a lot of jabbering about the matches.
It's going to be what they've been doing a lot lately, which is it'll be Renee, it'll be RJ, and insert third person. Probably Jeff Jarrett if the trend has continued from the last couple.
Yeah, or Kip Sabian because he was there last year, of course.
Yeah.
Right.
One of the two, and it's going to be talking, who do they got in this? Who do they think will win in that? A lot of the vignettes and a lot of the match prep, stuff like that. So,
yeah, well, it's going to be fun. They're going to do a great job covering. And
Renee and RJ are such a good pair for that stuff. I absolutely adore the chemistry they have with all of it.
Do you really quick want to run down? Because again, we're doing All In this year. Do you want to say where All In's gonna be next year?
Yeah, so they've been announcing a lot of stuff ahead of time. So they've already confirmed next year All In is going to take place in Texas. And I almost guarantee that is because there are rumors that Mania is going to be in London, which either means, well, it wouldn't be conflicting dates, but I guarantee Tony's moving it for the sake of not having a direct comparison Wembley to Wembley
Yeah,
in the same year. Because
because
while All In is their biggest event, Mania
Mhm.
will beat that out, guaranteed.
WWE will fill that house bigger and better. Not that again, I'm like saying one is better, but they will create a floor plan to where they can fill in more people. This is the
Yeah.
biggest thing.
Well, and especially you have to take into consideration this. It would be, if I'm not mistaken, the first Mania not in the US.
I believe so. Yes, maybe
And
Canada back in the day, but I can't remember.
and okay, it's the first non-North American Mania.
Well,
Let's do that.
yeah. But
And on
you
top of that, Cena's last Mania.
Yep.
Yeah. So there's unless you just started stealing talent, you're not going to be able to compete with that.
Yeah, the closest these two companies are going to be to each other is going to be at the end of the year when NXT is running house shows in Orlando when Year's End hits. So that's the closest this company is going to be statewide, or just in the same
Yeah,
vicinity.
actual location wise. But then in place of not putting All In London, we are apparently, there have been advertisements out there. Forbidden Door 2025 is going to be in London, and then All In 2026 will go back to London. Which,
I think Forbidden Door being in London next year opens up for easier travel for our
for the New
ocean
Japan
distance
reps,
friends. Yeah, because again, it is a very painful and annoying hassle because it's genuinely never like a last minute thing is the biggest thing that keeps them from coming stateside, or it is a very long arduous process where I think London of course probably has it a little bit easier than us is the biggest thing. And there, or maybe even like a quick visa thing where it's like a 2-day, 3-day thing. You're in London, bounce back to Japan,
yeah.
which
Well,
again I think is a good move.
and also, like, there is a very good number of European wrestlers that ended up in New Japan,
Yeah,
which means a lot of them don't need to worry about a lot of that because they're essentially going home,
yeah.
which
So
makes
that's also
things
the biggest
really
thing. It's just
easy.
like you're going
I.e.,
home. You're in.
the guaranteed main event part of that roster, which is going to be Zack Sabre Jr., because he's been in every Forbidden Door up to date. And it's going to be in essentially his backyard. There's no way he misses that unless he's injured.
Do you possibly see hypothetically at that point we get Ospreay as world champion?
Ooh, Osprey Saber. You could.
As
You
I
very
feel
much
like
could.
you want to do not fully hometown, but
Yeah,
adjacent enough where it's like the two hometown kids go there and you just have them tear the house down.
you could. You could.
Again,
There
also
is
the
that.
title doesn't have to be involved either is the biggest thing.
Yeah, no. There's a lot of ways you could run it, but that is a very long way out before we could speculate that shit.
No, but I will say, speaking of very long running and kind of just out of the way, Chris, you want to tell the people what the next match is?
Oh yeah, this is the match I will have no opinions on when we review All In after the fact because I will have gone to the bathroom because no one cares about Hook and Jericho.
It took Samoa Joe like 2 weeks to put Hook over and make Hook look like a star. It has taken like 6 to 8 months for Jericho to kind of just wrestle Hook a lot.
Yeah.
This is not a good rivalry.
No.
This is not a good character for Jericho. It's just boring for the sake of genuinely boring is the biggest thing. Like he's like, I have TV time. I'm waving. I'm being a nuisance.
Yeah.
And it's not like a good nuisance where it's like, oh, boo this man to boo this man. This is just not good. This is terrible. This is just Jericho at his literal worst. And Jericho's been at worse. But
So here is my take on this gimmick. It is not good, but at least it is different than what I have seen in the 2 years that I've seen Jericho. And
Very fair.
what I do, the one thing I do like, which is from the Dynamite I was at,
Mm-hmm.
they started to give you the little fragments that heel Jericho still hides under that mask, with the look in his eye before he literally drove Joe through a wall. Right.
Yeah.
And so my hunch with this, Hook's going to get his family's title back. Because at this point, that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's called the FTW title. It is whatever the fuck Taz's last name is. That's the name of the belt.
I'm pretty sure it's Tasmania.
There you go. Like, God, that would make him Hookmania, and I hate that. I despise that. But it's his family's legacy. I see this either this is going to be hopefully the end of Hook versus Jericho, and Hook will not go back after the FTW title until it's out of Jericho's hands, or Hook takes the belt, Jericho snaps, and then we get the fallout of Jericho and Bill and Bandit Keith, and how do they react when they're not Bandit Keith. What the fuck's his name? You're laughing because it's a Yu-Gi-Oh character. What the fuck is his name? Brian Keith. There we go. Not Bandit Keith. Brian Keith. God damn it. I've killed my co-host. Shit, I gotta vamp for another 2 hours on my own now. Damn it.
Okay.
I always do that with him, and if there's somebody who knows Yu-Gi-Oh around, that's when I know I fucked up.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I try to ignore it, but I'm just picturing him with the USA bandana and everything. And I just couldn't.
You mean MJF's current ring gear?
Yeah, honestly.
But yeah, it's either gonna be this is the last time Hook and Jericho fight, hopefully ever, or this is gonna be the beginning of the fallout where this gimmick just shatters under Jericho's feet.
It is one of those things where I have appreciated Big Bill getting some TV time.
I have too. Same with Brian Keith.
Along with Keith David. He's doing great things.
Fucking asshole.
No, but he is getting TV time is the biggest thing. But on the opposite end, though, it's like it is with Jericho is the biggest thing. So it's like it's TV time, but it's like the worst TV time you could possibly get.
Yeah, but at the same thing. The thing is, though, and this is what bothers me about Jericho more than anything, is first off, completely outside of kayfabe, piece of shit human in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
In terms of in-ring, has had a solid ass career. You can't, like, in-ring work and what he has accomplished, you can't take that away from him because he has put in the work to get to where he's at. The thing that bothers me is he doesn't have a bad mind in the philosophy of wrestling. Mm-hmm. And this is where I sit in this weird thing of, as a fan and as a mark, I fucking despise Jericho. But as somebody who wants to learn how to wrestle and learn how to do this, the business side of it and why he does what he does and why he's working with a lot of this new talent and what has been dubbed the Jericho Vortex, like, it is still in a weird way. Like, he's doing it for selfish reasons, but the ripple effect does still help get younger guys or people that wouldn't get that time otherwise. It draws eyes to them.
Yeah.
And the thing that bothers me the most about it is it's essentially doing what Heyman had talked about when Heyman used to talk about how he would book businesses. Mm-hmm. Because Heyman always talked about the idea you build two guys as your top stars. That is your first big pay-per-view, your first big match, your main event. It is the two guys you've built up, one being a champion, one not. These are the two you've elevated. Then after that match, then they fight other people that you want there, and it essentially everyone gets elevated up until you have a roster of all-stars. And it sucks because, like, if the booking was different in AEW, that's exactly what we would have gotten out of Sammy Guevara and Daniel Garcia and Jake Hager and fucking Hook and Action Andretti. Like, those are 5 guys, a third of Jericho's age, that have all been around him, that all got way bigger and more noticed after interacting with him. The problem is there was no push to keep them interested after they separated, which is why it looks like Jericho's using young talent to put himself over. You know what I mean? Like, it's really
Very true.
it's
Very
fucked up how that plays out, where it's like, yes, Jericho's egotistical, and yes, he's probably doing a lot of it to keep himself in the spotlight. But if they pushed better stories off of the people that left from him after they left, it'd be a whole different conversation right now.
Very true. Very true.
But regardless, I am probably going to this will be my bathroom break match, unless it's like match 2, in which case I'm just going to cry.
It's a match that's going to happen. I do have a personal take here a little bit on 2 different sides.
Mm-hmm.
I truly think the FTW title has run its course. I think we've come full circle. I don't think we need it anymore, because the main reason this title was introduced, of course, was to put over the people that were in, Taz's group. Is the
Team
biggest
Taz,
thing.
Brian Cage, Hobbs, Ricky, Hook.
But you look at AEW's All In last year compared to this one, Hook is technically in for the same title last year, facing Jack Perry.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, you're facing Jericho for the FTW title. If you want to move Hook past all of this, you're going to have to move on from that title. And this is, again...
Also, hey, your webcam is totally...
win this match.
Your webcam is totally fucked on my end.
He's a top guy now. He's moved on from this. Give it to his dad. Give it to Taz. Have him take it. And have Hook go after other titles for once.
Win it, achieve it, retire it.
There is so much you can do. Specifically because, again, Jack Perry right now, depending on how the casting match goes, there's still history there. You might as well run that if you want to, and then give Hook a reason to move on without, again, holding onto hardware that... Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But to move past this 1,000-year dragon, I kind of want to talk about the next match.
I do too. I'm going to make sure I'm super quick. Am I back? Because I definitely hit a huge lag spike for a second.
You went for a second, but you're back. Is the biggest thing.
Mint, because there is about half of your conversation where your webcam is fucking dead. Because because I checked Discord and it said last ping 5,000 ms.
Ooh.
We're back though. We're back in green. We're good. No, the audio is fine. I just could not see you during that time.
Making sure. Okay, so you guys will get something in that spot. But again, that match is gonna be a great time to go get snackies, some drinks, and maybe run to the restroom.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing gets hooked at all.
The beautiful part as well is because Jericho has already said that they're gonna live perform his fucking entrance again, so you have twice as long to go get your snacks as well.
London, I'm so sorry.
Hey, by the way, with that, have you heard about... Did you hear when he announced that what his other logic was?
No.
The reason they do it, he's like, it's a better energy when it's live music, it is a live performance. Plus, then Fozzy could say that we've played Wembley twice. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Piece of shit. Like I said, he's an egotistical piece of shit. I hate that, again, he's a fucking shitty human, but he's a good businessman, and it pisses me off. It's like, be bad at everything.
That lie detector won't be wrong.
No, Fozzy will have played Wembley Stadium twice. Not on their own, but they'll have played it twice.
No.
This next match has so much fucking potential, though. I'm so excited for this match because this is literally all you'd have to do is change one of these groups out for the fucking Dark Order, and you have all of my boys in one match.
You're not wrong, honestly.
You aren't. This match is like most of my AEW personality. It's so good.
So the next match, of course, is our London ladder match for the AEW Trios World Titles. Mm-hmm. We have the Bang Bang Gang, the House of Black, the Patriarchy, and we have an interesting team up.
This is the result of Collision that we have looked up to find out. So the main event of Collision, skip ahead if you don't want to have this spoiled, but the winners of Collision were the third team, or was the fourth team to end up in this. And that team is, we'll give a pause here before, we have Pac, Claudio, and our favorite boy, Wheeler Yuta.
Our boy made it. He's on the card.
He's on the card. Well, he was in last year's too, because he was part of the Stadium Stampede.
No, I know, but the fact that like he's like on the card, competing for the title makes me very happy.
True. I don't know who wins this. I know who I would hope to win it.
I think if I have to rule out one team, unfortunately, I think it's gonna be the Bang Bang Gang. Not because I don't like them. I very much love it. I'm always guns up. Yeah. I just think they held the titles for too long, and if they weren't going to do other things, why take the titles off of them? And
if you weren't like, because obviously Jay White got hurt, and then Juice. Ironically, as Juice came back, Jay got hurt. So their argument was, we are a faction of 4. We will just switch them out. But that's when I was actually at the show when Christopher Daniels came out and said, hey, that's not how it works here. You guys have to vacate the belts because a third of your team is injured.
Yeah.
And that was, so it's like, if they're going to win it, you didn't have to do any of that, because you could have just gone, anybody within a faction can replace anybody in a faction when it comes to defenses. Mm-hmm. So I agree the Bang Bang Gang's out. I believe Pat, Claudio, and Yuta are not winning these belts.
I think it would be interesting, like heavily interesting, if they won this, because again, it is a Frankensteinian team, you know.
It would be more interesting for them to win it if Eddie Kingston wasn't hurt. Yes. Because then Eddie would go, the minute Claudio especially had belts, immediately Eddie is going to storm that locker room going, I need 2 dudes tough enough to beat these fuckers. We're taking these off of them.
That, or the hypothetical, you take out Pac and you put Eddie in that spot. You force him in that spot where he hates his tag partner, and then of course Wheeler Yuta's there. And you just they beat the shit out of everyone. They win the titles, and then again it's a tag team, it's a trios where Wheeler Yuta's kind of in the middle of 2 dudes beating the hell out of everyone else to prove that they're stronger, they're better than their own partner, which I would love to see.
Yeah, I narrow it down to the House of Black or the Patriarchy being the ones to win the belt. I so desperately hope it's the House of Black, because the House Rules was so good. It was such a fun take on the Trios titles, man.
They did the most with the Trios titles. Let's be very honest.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing against the Acclaimed. I like the Acclaimed. Nothing against them. They kind of just held the titles and didn't get to defend them. The Bang Bang Gang also just kind of held the titles, didn't really do anything. Let's be honest. House of Black, creatives like, hey, we're going to come up with this rule. Or even it was like, maybe House of Black was like, hey, we want to do this if we're going to defend the titles. It made it interesting. It made it different. It also gave chances to other trios teams that really weren't on TV as the biggest thing. From Ring of Honor, from Dark, from, just even Collision. They're defending them on several different shows or several different ways. It was neat. It's cool. It's interesting. Mm-hmm. I don't want to see it go back to the hypothetical Bang Bang Gang, which is like they're kind of defended, but not really. Yeah,
because the way you look at it, it's like, okay, you look down each of those teams. If the Bang Bang Gang wins it, they just hoard the gold, and they do exactly what they were doing. Nothing changes. Mm-hmm. If the Franken team wins it, the only thing that can be interesting about that is Pac and Claudio have tension, because Pac abandoned the Combat Club at Blood and Guts.
This is true.
Right, so there is that tension there, but it's not going to lead to anything there. And if the Patriarchy wins it, dimes to dollars, Christian does with the Trios belts what he had did with the TNT title, which is fuck any chance of an open challenge. You have to earn your shot and call your shot.
He's also been parading around as the only tag team champion. Is the biggest thing. They're only a trio champion. He's not talking
Hmm.
about Nick Wayne. He's not talking about Killswitch. It's just Christian as the trios tag team champions,
Yeah.
which I think it's far too gone to pull the trigger on that ever being a true turning point, which is annoying. If it does
Yeah.
happen, it happens. But at this point, it has been long overdue, and I don't think it's going to hit its mark at this point. I think we're just kind of over it. If they turn, they turn, but if not, it's still going to be a fizz and not an explosion.
Yeah. Because like the only thing I could see, and this is my Hail Mary hope, is if the patriarchy wins this, this leads to some sort of Copeland faction, like him coming back and having a group to run with. And then we get, it's still Copeland versus Christian or Copeland versus the patriarchy, but he's got backup this time that isn't just, but what if when Copeland comes back, he recruits some of the House of Black?
He could. He did get to them just a teeny bit
Mm-hmm.
before his
I
entire
wouldn't
leg.
be, yeah, until he decided, top of a cage at 50 seems right. There goes my fucking
Convinced
ankle.
the House of Black a little bit, but his ankle exploded a lot of it. So,
Yeah.
uh, but I do think this match with what 3, 6, 9, 12 competitors
It's
vying
going to
for
cook.
gonna cook.
Yep.
There's too many high flyers. There's too many hard hitters. I really hope we do see, and again, this is because I love uh, Brody King so much. I do want to see him choke out a man on the apron, and I want it to be Christian.
He
Where he
won't
just
do
goes
it. Here's the
full.
thing. Out of everybody in that match, it's going to be Yuta or Nick Wayne.
Yeah, no, I know, but it's just like a dream. It's like I kind of want to see him do it to Christian because again,
I
Christian
just
deserves a
had
moment like that.
I just had another thought though.
Hmm.
If I'm not mistaken, and I could be wrong, but I believe I saw something that Beth Phoenix has talked about possibly doing things outside of the WWE. And if Christian and the Patriarchy win the Trios titles, and they have
Again,
Mother Wayne, and if Copeland comes back and gets a couple of good old boys to fight with him, who better to stop Mother Wayne than wife Copeland?
hold on. I'm calling up a few edge heads. Hello, Cardona. Is your boy also available? Whose name is eluding me right now. Brian Myers, is he available? Sorry, he doesn't
Or
win
you
too
get
much. His cell
or
phone's
you
not
get
working.
or you get the same trio that was set up, the what I affectionately called the Uncle's Cookout, because of that one post I saw on Twitter, because it was the shot of, oh god, it was Copeland, Briscoe, and somebody. I can't remember who the
I think it was
third was.
Riley, right?
No, no, I thought it
Is
was
that
somebody older.
well? That's who they were cutting. Oh, man, it might have been Kingston.
Oh, it would have been Eddie. That's right. Eddie is part of
Yeah,
the Uncle's Cookout. Damn it.
yeah.
Why do you have to go and break it, like blow out his ACL? Damn it. We could have had the Uncle
Damn it,
Cookout.
Eddie.
We could have had the Patriarchy versus the Uncle's Cookout, and it would have been phenomenal.
I truly think again a lot of injuries, of course, have affected this card. That again, Eddie's on this card, hands down,
Oh,
easiest
yeah.
booking. Eddie's on this card,
Oh, yeah.
but I still think again this match is.
It's going
I
to
can't
cook no
say,
matter what.
I can't say it's gonna have a contender for match of the night because this card is way too deep for
Yeah.
match of the night. But I will say it might be the best tag match on this card, but that's also not too deep.
Yeah. Speaking of
Because
tag,
yo, listen.
hey, you remember how a year ago to the day, well, a year ago to the 2 days from now, FTR fought the Bucks for the tag titles? Well, what if we did it again, but threw in the Acclaimed? What revolutionary booking a year later?
It's one of those things where
It's going to be a good match.
they're not just throwing in those like the biggest thing. It's like if on the outside, if you like don't know what's going on, yeah, it does look like they're thrown in. They have had issues with the Bucks.
Mhm.
But biggest thing is Chris in the last 100 days. How many times have the Bucks defended their titles?
There's a reason for this, though, at least from what I've seen.
No, I know, but it's the biggest thing of like these titles haven't been defended.
No,
They've been featured, but they haven't been defended.
correct. But part of that is apparently, and take dirt sheets for what they are, there's a lot of truth in them, but there can be rampant assumption in it.
Yeah.
But the working theory that most people have taken at face value with it is this new contract that the Bucks signed when all of the Elite re-signed has them on less days than their last contract did, which means less days means less appearances, which means when you throw belts on them, you have to be choosy as to when they defend it, because otherwise you burn out all the days, and if the story isn't where it needs to be, you've just fucked yourself for the rest of the year.
Yeah. I will also openly say we as ourselves will never claim to be dirt sheets because
God,
again,
no.
we're not that deep, and even if we were, I think we would just honestly just tell the truth and not tell possible half truths. We go based off of what we see like everyone else.
I'm going to say it right now. If I ever get to a point of influence where I can have access to the dirt sheets and the behind the scenes, I will exclusively live in kayfabe, and you will never know what the fuck I'm saying is true or
No,
not.
because
Because
it's
I would
really
rather
fair.
keep the mystery of all of it.
But it's also, if we did share it, I don't think we'd put it behind a paywall. That's my 2 cents on it. Because I
Depends
think,
on
again,
how broke I am. No, I'm kidding.
well, no, but it's one of the things where I do find it very annoying. It's like, guess who's returning to AEW? $10.
Yeah.
It's Kenny Omega. I'm just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's like, cool.
Former AEW World Champion is back. Find out who. Give us money.
It's Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
That's why I'm just like, again, dirt sheets. Again, if I knew stuff, we would never just openly tell. Is the biggest thing is like that. It also spoils a lot of the fun. Honestly,
It does. It does. Right. You know, people that live in, like, the wrestlers that live in kayfabe are the best. I think that's why I love MJF so much. It's like you never know. Like, if you see him, you have to just assume you're talking to MJF, not the man behind MJF.
Yeah, but circling all the way back to the Bucks, I am. If this is true, contract-wise, a little annoyed by it. To be very honest with you, because the story has been going for a good stretch of time. Of course, we had them at Blood and Guts. We
Mhm.
had them backstage a lot on TV with Okada. It's just, as a lover of tag team wrestling, I feel like the tag teams that hold the titles should be featured a little bit on TV outside of cutting promos, maybe wrestling a little bit,
Yeah.
because it shows off how good your division should be.
Mhm.
And you guys are the best at it, but you're not wrestling in tag matches. Kind of deflates the reasoning for having the tag titles to begin with.
Yeah. Here's the other thing. This whole pay-per-view, the more I look at this,
Mm-hmm.
like, it has to be at some point soon. The higher power of the elite needs to take some kind of L in the form of a lost belt.
Yes.
Right.
Like, the tag titles are, of course, being held by the Bucks. The international title is being held
Continental
by...
title.
Continental title, sorry.
Yeah.
Continental title is being held by Okada, which, again, that's cool, that's nice, but it's not fair.
Yeah, but it's also not a. But here's the thing.
But it's not a bad choice either.
Well, and here's my thing with that one. First off, crazy that Okada is not on this card in any capacity.
No. But
Absolutely
he's not the only off the card, which is interesting.
But it's absolutely insane to me that he is not featured in some capacity with this. Secondly, Continental title being held by him now, I'm fine with, because we are creeping up to when the Continental Classic will come back. And the way it's been set up, at least from what Tony had said months and months and months ago, is whoever holds it is automatically entered into it, with the stakes of, I believe, whoever because, like, I believe it's the finals of it are always going to be run at World's End now at the end of the year.
Yes.
So putting that on Okada and then not having him wrestle means he's going to be insanely healthy for when that tournament starts, because it is effectively their version of the G1, right? Which, if you look at last year's Continental Classic, half the dudes were either hurt and going through it or hurt and didn't finish it. Danielson.
Fair,
Danielson had a broken orbital bone for half of that tournament. Roosh, I think, fucked up his hamstring in his first or second match, had to tough it out till the end of it, and then was off TV for months. I think Eddie got fucked up at one point for a little bit, and then that, I think, snowballed into him fucking up his ACL for a year. Like, that tournament, because it's so intense, you need everyone in it at 100%. So, yeah, give Okada the belt. Let him wrestle a little bit less. And let him be one of the healthiest guys going into that, so that that whole stretch of time to the end of the year is a banger.
Yeah. No, I fully agree. If you had to pick someone to win this match, though,
I was about to ask you the same thing. Who I think will win and who I want to win are very different. I think the Bucks are going to retain, and that sucks. Because, obviously, if dirt sheets are to be believed, then these titles aren't going to mean shit for a while.
no.
However, who I want to win, I want FTR to have them. Only because the Acclaimed have been for a very long time. They've been champions most of the time that I have watched AEW.
That's fair.
Like, they were associates with the Ass Boys for a while. That broke apart. And then it was very quickly after that they beat Swerve and Keith Lee for the tag titles. Carried those for a while. The trios got introduced. They had the trios titles for a while, or for a good chunk of time, actually. Like, and also, and I don't know if it's intentional, and I hope to God this has been planned for a while, Max Caster continues to refer to himself as the best wrestler in the world. And almost every time he does it, Bowens shoots him a look. And I think if they lose, the Acclaimed are breaking up.
So, do you want a little bit of story behind that? Why he owns that. He
Really?
owns the rights to that catchphrase, that name, the best wrestler in the world. And that's why he hammers it home so much, because he can.
That's funny. That's really funny. It's
I
amazing how
do-
one word changes it from Max Caster to CM Punk, though, huh?
Yeah,
One caveat.
I do think, because I also want FTR to win this. Truly, I also, again, I think we're in the same boat. I want FTR to win. I think the Bucks are going to win.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest thing is, I think, as much as the Acclaim has a stake to be in this match, I think they were the ones eating the pin. Is the biggest thing in the world.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Bowens takes it, which then circles back to the overarching story forever, that Bowens is always the fall guy between them. And that's when Caster picks him up and just fucking buries the hatchet with him in that moment.
Give them that moment, like, truly, because I feel like they deserve that. To end the Acclaim, you give them the moment on a very big stage.
Put them in Wembley and just let it just shatter the hearts of 70,000 people.
Yeah, because again, they're still over. They're not as over as they used to be. Is the biggest thing, but that's hard to do. It's hard to stay up here all the time, especially with a tag team, and also if you're not featured heavily.
Mm-hmm.
But they've been able to stay here, like a good portion. Like, they're here. This is a good spot.
Yeah.
But I think you finally break them apart. You give Bowens a push, and then you do whatever you want with Max Caster. Not that I like one more than the other. I do. It's Bowens. Clearly Bowens.
I like Bowens better. I feel like Caster would get the push first.
Yeah, I agree. It's again, it's a want and a need is the biggest thing. It's the want and the result.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I also think Billy's gonna do something as well.
He's gonna get retired by Ospreay.
Yeah. But yeah, this match again, you have three really good tag teams.
You do.
I think this match is gonna have some very interesting spots.
Oh yeah.
And I think I think shenanigans are also going to play into this just a tiny bit, just
All
an
right.
itty bitty bit.
But real question: scale of 1 to 10, how pumped are the Reebok kicks going to be by the end of that match?
Oh, you got to pump them up. You got to get an air. You got to get the air in them. As one Mr. John Felix Cena used to do, you got to get down there and you got to pump them up. Because again, you got to pump them up for the fans. That's when you know when the end of the match is.
Yeah. All right. Moving on from one chunk of the Elite to the next. Darby Allin is back for a second coffin match at Wembley against the scapegoat Jack Perry.
So, I mean, we're a year removed from something.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah. We're also going back to the scene of the crime with half of the people.
So, for those unaware, again, if you're new to wrestling, that's cool. We're friends. If you've been aware of wrestling for a bit, last year, there was a guy named Phil. I'm not going to fill you in too much. Haha. He kind of got into a little bit of a tiff and argument, issue with one Jack Perry. Jack Perry did a thing during a match where
he
was
hit
all
Hook
like,
with a fucking rolling thunder through a front pane of a car.
That's real glass. Cry me a river.
He's just a big fan of JT, that's all.
And then they got into a big argument backstage. Philip then goes out and wrestles his match. He wrestles Samoa Joe, who's not on this card, but unfortunately, but he is off filming.
Twisted Metal 2.
Twisted Metal season 2. He plays Sweet Tooth. Maybe go watch it. I don't know. We're not sponsored.
Don't watch it. I've heard nothing but really bad things, and everyone was shocked they got a second season. It's not good, apparently.
Don't watch it, but Captain America is in it. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
He is. Go see World at War, whatever that Marvel movie is.
New World Order.
New World Order.
World at War. Yeah.
Listen, I can't say New World Order either, Chris. We're not WCW marks here. Issues occurred. One of the three gentlemen involved in this entire tiff is no longer with the company. He's with some indie promotion called WWE. I don't know.
Yeah.
But Jack Perry is back.
He's working for Paul Levesque.
Yeah, pulled the vest. Yeah. He is back with the TNC title. But Chris, have you seen his new design for his title?
I have not seen it. I heard he did allegedly make it himself, though.
He did actually make it himself. He put a video on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. It's Twitter.
It's Twitter.
About making the title, and he actually melted down the metal. He replaced the plates. He replaced the leather, and then what I really thought was really cool is because there's like a splash of red across it. I was like, that's weird to do it. It's actually just him taking a paintbrush and just ba-da. I was like, that's neat. I think this match is gonna be violent.
It's gonna be brutal.
Do you want to fill the people in on what Darby Allin has done to Jack Perry since this rivalry started?
Sure. I mean, just the overarching feud of Darby versus the Elite. Darby has been on the receiving end of a lot of things, including jumping through a full pane of real glass and getting a hole in his side, being bandaged up and finishing the match for Sting's retirement match. He has been kicked in the face by 2 sets of spike-inlaid Reebok pumps. And that's not involving Jack Perry yet. That is him versus the Bucks. To Jack Perry, Jack Perry has hit Darby with a bus. Darby has almost tried to drown Jack Perry. Jack Perry has been lit on fire. Jack Perry has been handcuffed to a cage and been smoked in the head with a steel chair. There's a lot, dude. And these two have had so much beef even before this because they've always been 2 of the 4 pillars of AEW, right?
And then a second time, he was going to set Jack Perry on fire, but he stopped under 2 conditions. 1, quit the match, and 2,
give me a shot at Wembley. Yeah.
And of course, here comes Wembley. Here comes a casket match, or a coffin match. Sorry, coffin match. Don't want to upset that indie company. It's gonna be a very good match. Again, it's gonna be violent.
It's two young talent. It's 2 young talent that are very reckless, So
Yeah.
this match is going to be in fucking insane.
It's I very much would like to see the way it ended the last time, but I don't want to, where he coffin drops him through the casket. I love that so much. But I expect again there to be blood, there to be guts, there to be
Yeah.
hopefully not someone getting set on fire again, unless you set the casket on fire,
Yeah.
but they're
So
not actually in the casket. Is the
you know
biggest
what?
thing.
You want to know what? I'm going to call my shot now. There's a few matches later on that I have like this is going to happen, and these are my Hail Mary or like my predictions. I'm throwing this one out here now. Jack Perry retains. Jack Perry coffin drops Darby through the coffin.
I would love to see it. I think
That's my shot.
Darby can afford to lose.
Oh yeah.
When he was with Sting, it was a lot of winning, a lot of the time.
Jack Perry is so white hot right now, especially with the custom belt. You can't take that away from him right now.
No, especially for like basically like a 1 week thing. Like it's not actually 1 week, but it's like he just made it is the biggest thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got to agree. I don't. It wouldn't upset me. I'd be a little annoyed if Darby won because I feel like you have to ride Jack here, because that opens up a lot for so much other talent on the roster to face Jack Perry. And as someone since kind of day one with the Jungle Express, I like Jack Perry. I understand what happened with Punk is the biggest thing. Neither side came out looking good,
Mm-hmm.
obviously. But I feel like one definitely learned from it and the other had to accept he kind of was the problem. It's the biggest thing in the world.
Hey, I'm gonna throw another fantasy booking at you here. Ladder match happens earlier in the card than the coffin match, and earlier in the card than the tag match. Patriarchy wins ladder match. Bucks lose tag titles. Perry loses TNT. Bucks and Perry then go after Christian and the Patriarchy. Perry's original family in Jungle Express, Kill Switch, and Christian, with the newfound family of the Bucks.
This works for me. I like this idea.
And that's when you start to sow the seeds into Kill Switch's mind of turning on Christian. Because now he's stuck between... He's now back in the position of, do I go with Christian or do I go with this new Jack Perry?
Yeah, I'm okay with this.
I would not be against that. I don't think that's how it's going to play out because I don't think TK's got that much foresight into his booking, but I would be okay if that's how that played out. But that also requires all of the elite to have no gold other than Okada.
It would have to line up so many red strings is the biggest thing. Like you would have to connect so many different dots for this to pay off. It would be interesting, but again, this is the biggest thing is like you would have to change a lot of your booking depending on how it already is the biggest thing.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, this match I think is gonna have the most blood.
Other than main event, I would agree.
Yeah.
Actually, there's one other match. It's the next one we want to talk about that might go real brutal because of how this match got set up.
You know what? That not this rivalry blamed my mind. That moment kind of went left. Okay.
Yeah. So, Toni Storm and Mariah May at Wembley for the women's world title. Oh man,
this is the longest running storyline going into a match, right?
Yeah, because they've been. Yeah, you could say that. Because
I would say consistency.
The setup, like the actual setup for the match, is probably a little shorter than some, but the dynamic between the two in the match has been going basically since Mariah debuted.
Yeah, so quick rundown for this. Again, if you're new here, you're new here. If you're not, Mariah May was a talent that came from Stardom. First week there, basically, oh, Tony, I'm a huge fan. Tony kind of disregards Mariah is the biggest thing. Because, again, she is just now kind of sort of rolling into the Timeless Toni Storm gimmick.
Yeah.
Is the biggest thing. It has some traction, but it doesn't have wheels yet. Mariah, of course, does anything for Tony, sticks by her side. Highs and lows is the biggest thing. We get a bunch of
Yeah.
promos, we get a bunch of backstage vignettes, we get a bunch of silent movies. Tony picks up the title off of Soraya, and I believe it was it a singles match or was it a multi-women
I
match?
believe it was either triple threat or fatal four way.
Okay, so
I
Tony
believe.
does pick up the title. Again, at this point though, this storyline, not storyline, this gimmick has full wheels. It is spinning. It is rolling. It is working.
Hmm.
Mariah May, of course, catches the eye of Tony. Tony catches the eye of Mariah May because she's helping. She is working. She is her pupil. She is her understudy, and then things start cooking from there. And then their family, they love each other. We roll into Forbidden Door, where old flames kind of pick up a little bit.
Hmm.
A match is had. I'm blanking on the competitor.
I'm trying to recall her name as well. Hold on.
But this match occurred and Mariah May was torn. Is the biggest thing. Hearts were, heartstrings were pulled at, and just this is where Tony loves this girl now. Tony just absolutely adores her, and this is where also the Owen Hart Classic kind of picks up, where Tony wants Mariah May in this tournament. And again, she wants to win, and then Mariah May rips through this tournament because she has the support of a very nice world champion who absolutely just believes in her. Believes. But this is where I have to hand off the story just a kind of a little bit, because what happens next, I wasn't there to see. Our good friend Chris here saw it live.
Hmm.
Chris, do you want to tell the people what happened next?
Yeah. Also, I tried looking up Mariah's old flame's name, but I don't believe she's technically under contract with AEW, so I can't find her on the roster, which sucks.
Okay.
But yeah, so the setup was that whoever won the Owen got a title shot at Wembley for both the men's and the women's. And I basically, as soon as I saw that Mariah was in it, I knew that's where we were headed. Was
Yeah.
Mariah was gonna gun her way through and get to the finals. And what I expected to happen was that Mariah would win the finals, she would be handed the trophy, and then there would be that tension. And the next couple of weeks of Dynamite would be like, Tony, like that bittersweet, like, I'm excited to, I'm so happy you won, but you know what I have to do at the end of this and build that tension. That is not what happened. What happened is Mariah and Tony walked up the ramp. Mariah grabbed the ceremonial belt for winning the Owen and beat Tony square in the head, busted her open, threw Luther off the ramp into a stack of tables, pulled off one of Tony's high heels, and began to stab her in the forehead with the base of a stiletto heel. And Tony was so fucking bloody afterwards. And I had banger seats for this because Maple and I got not floor seats, but the front row of a lower bowl. And if I'm sat here, if I look this way, I see the ring. If I look that way, I have a clear view of the ramp and where Luther fell through, actually. Because I saw her grabbing him and I went, oh, that's not good. And then I looked down about 6 inches and I saw the tables. And I went, oh, Luther's fucking dead, dude. I guarantee it does not come through on that. But anybody sat next to me, I'm literally screaming, like, no, not Luther, no. Like, I'm losing my mind because he's done nothing wrong in all of this. But yeah, Mariah, absolutely. And it amplifies it so much, the fact that Tony wears basically all white and is a very pale skin to begin with, and especially with the dyed white hair that she has, all of it soaks into all of that white so fast, and it looks like a fucking crime scene. And it's like, what I expected to be weeks of awkwardness and tension was like, nope, Mariah called her shot, then and there. Just boom. This match is going to be so good, and I don't know who I want to win because I love the Timeless gimmick right now, and I love Tony, and I don't know what you do with her if she doesn't have that belt. But, God, what Mariah did there and all the work she's put in to essentially reestablish herself. Like, she wasn't not over in Stardom, but not very many people knew her over here. And she has, since her debut, fully established her as somebody who is, like, somebody you should pay attention to. And I would also, personally, I would love for a new person to hold that belt. Because if you look at the history of the women's title, a lot of it is second time, third time champs.
Yeah, you have Britt Baker, Sheeta, Tony, Soraya, a lot of people. Jamie Hayter, we miss you, girl.
You want to know? I can tell you everyone who's held the title because I do Sporkle quizzes once in a while to test how well I know the roster and the championships.
Mm-hmm.
Riho, Nyla Rose, Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa, and then it ping-pongs Tony and Sheeta for a while. Soraya somewhere in the middle. And that's fucking it, basically.
8?
Seven.
7 or 8.
Let me double check it because I can look at the history of the belt through the roster. But it's only like 7 or 8 individual women who have held that belt.
Because I know, of course, again, we have multi-time champions is the biggest thing in the world.
Yeah.
But this company has been going for, 6 years now?
It'll be a little over 5 years. It'll be 6 years next year.
Again, lineage is something, longevity is another.
Yeah, so it goes Riho to Nyla to Sheeta to Britt to Rosa to Tony to Hayter, back to Tony, back to Sheeta to Soraya, back to Sheeta, now to Tony.
So
1, 2, 3,
because again, I'm just
4,
counting
4, 5, 6, 7, 8 separate women have held the title.
That is a number that annoys me a little bit. I'm going to be very honest with you. I feel like if you've been a company for 5 years, 5 going on 6, or just going on 5.
5 going on 6.
5 going on 6. We'll say 6. This is rounded down. The fact that you only have that many female champions over across 6 years is kind of disrespectful to the roster as a whole. Because I understand a lot of that time, of course, at least for a year, almost 2 years, COVID, where you didn't have really attendance.
Yeah.
You had to build up roster. But at the same time, this is a genuine thing, to me at least, I think that's the perfect, because you're also early on in the company, you see what works. You see who's like, hey, maybe we make her champion, maybe we make them champion, maybe we move it around a bit to see if pieces fall in place. But instead, it was held by individuals who had it way too long. Nothing against Sheeta, nothing against Britt. I like both of them. I like every single person who has held it. I like 7/8 of the people who have held this title.
Good correction. Good correction.
I think you hope, because again, this is also before the other title kind of like had a chance to be held by others as well. Jade Cargill existed. I don't hate Jade Cargill either, but again, it was a long period of one person held the title. Biggest thing in the world. I think what they're doing currently, like with the people who have held the TBS title, has been super nice. It's been different people.
Mm-hmm.
With this title, I think we should see different people. I think Mariah May should win this title because, again, she deserves it. She has put in the work. She put in the time. She put in the hours. She's gotten over organically as a face and then immediately ripped the hearts out of people like a fantastic actor.
Yeah.
And she's now a heel. And I think you go with this. You run it. I also don't think this is the last time we see them face each other. It's the biggest thing. I don't think
not at all.
You can't run this as a one-off. This can be a very... You continue the feud, you have them still fight each other. Because I believe this is just a match, right? No stip?
Yeah, this is as far as I'm aware, it's straight up singles match.
You can run this so much more aggressively down the line.
Mm-hmm.
and I think you should, and I think it's necessary because these two should have just a genuine thing. These two should have an opportunity if it wasn't for this match that's main eventing, a chance to main event a card.
Oh yeah.
Honest to God.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not saying that just because, of course, women deserve a shot at the main event, because women do deserve a shot at the main event. These two are the people I would be like, we need a main event tonight. You two go out there, you put on a banger, you tell the story that you've still been telling for months, and you let them cook.
Yeah. Also, I'm gonna give you 4 names of other females on the roster that should have this title as well, and that I'm talking from where they are right now. At some point, with where they're at now, are ready to be or are damn close with the right push to be women's world champion. Willow Nightingale, Chris Statlander,
Yes.
Julia Hart, Deonna Purrazzo.
Yes.
All 4. Pardon me, Athena. There's your 5th.
Oh, okay. So I'll talk about these 5 just very quickly before we move on to the next match, which does feature women. Athena, carrying that division. Phenomenal. Julia Hart, nothing to something. Created a very deep character with understanding that you're going to have to go out there and maybe not do a single thing, but you're telling a story. Phenomenal. Got over with the crowd again. Was put in a fantastic group. Got over. Was a champion. Deonna Purrazzo, phenomenal. Incredible. Can work. Can tell a story again.
And has been given title shot opportunities.
And has been given title shot opportunities. I think down the road we see her as champion, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Statlander
and
was
Willow.
the person. Both. Chris Statlander dethroned Jade Cargill. Deserves that top spot, even as a heel, even as a face. And then number 1 with a bullet, Willow Nightingale. Nothing to absolute fucking star.
Genuinely went from being a fan watching in the crowds pre-COVID AEW to wrestling dark to be given an all-elite contract in the span of a couple of years. You want definition homegrown talent that got herself over? You look at Willow.
I
guarantee
by next year, by AEW All In 2025 in Texas, I want to be talking about Willow either as a former women's champion
or going into a title match for it,
or going into a title match, or holding the title.
Mm-hmm.
She deserves it.
100%.
But right. I think it's
this next match has one of my prediction calls, but I'll get to that at the end of this.
Do you want to tell a quick tale of how this all came to be?
Tony Khan likes hiring former WWE wrestlers. That's how this really started.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much.
Britt Baker versus Mercedes Moné for the TBS title. Moné won this off of Willow through, I believe, Statlander shenanigans. No, Stat turned on Willow after she lost it. But Willow and Moné have had beef since a match in New Japan. That was actually where Willow won her first title, because due to an injury, unfortunately, but still won it. And that's where a lot of that beef started. And now you have DMD versus the CEO. You have the woman who held down the fort of AEW for essentially the first 5 years of the company, the first 4 years of the company's life, to the most recent, or one of the most recent female signings that has a lot of reputation behind her and a lot of history behind her in the industry, who is by kayfabe loosely tied to the Bucks right now. I basically consider her the one female member of the Elite with the way that they interact.
Pretty much, yeah.
And because of that, because it's the CEO and the EVPs, right? So, yeah, this match has been built up a little bit between the two of them for a little while now. I think it's going to be a good match all the same. I am okay with whoever wins because of my Hail Mary assumption, but my Hail Mary, my shot that I'm calling will feel 1,000 times better if Britt wins.
Yeah. I think This is to give Mercedes that moment, truly, to have her win the title. Not win the title, retain the title, have it at Wembley, have that moment. And then you can, of course, run her full heel, as she's been doing, but this is like a crowning moment to
Hmm.
have her be a heel, have her be like, I'm the best, haha, I told you. And then possibly what I imagine my good friend Chris is alluding to is a little bit of this and a little bit of this, possibly. Um, but I think it's still gonna be a good match. I think Britt Baker needs to go full sprint with this. I think they both do because again,
Hmm.
you're gonna be following a match that I think is hard to follow possibly, or else it's reversed. Then I think they'll be fine. But if
Yeah,
they
we
somehow
we have no
follow,
idea how this is laid out card wise
yeah,
either. So
I think this match has to go before the other match is the biggest thing.
yeah, I think women's title is going to be. I feel like your. I feel like your three, as Tony calls it, the triple main event. Your last three matches are going to be women's world, American Championship, and the main event.
Yeah, so this match is probably going to go before the world title match, the women's world title match, of course. But they need to set a precipice. They need to set the stage for the other match because if you somehow follow that match, you're not going to do as good. No
Yeah.
offense to these two involved, but you're just not going to do as good.
So I'm going to say this now. My shot call, regardless who wins this match, Hater's music is hitting, and she is coming out. And she is going to establish herself as the first challenger for whoever's holding that belt. Which is why, if it's Britt holding that belt, is going to feel so much better than Mercedes.
Interesting.
Because she has Jimmy Hayter has been out with injury for a while. She has posted photos over the last handful of months back in the gym. I think she has either been cleared or is close to being cleared and is going to make her presence known in her hometown, her home country of England. And that pop would go hard, dude.
Yeah, because Britt talked about this recently. It's like, how do they remember you? Will they remember you? I think if you do it at home, they're not going to forget.
No.
A lot of us haven't forgotten because talk about again another individual that was kind of an underdog or kind of not really shown off a lot because she was with Britt and then overtook that and won the title. Haters are gonna hate, but I think Hater needs to return. It's due time if she's cleared.
Mm-hmm. And even if it's like she's still a few weeks out from being cleared, you make her presence known. Like the music hits and she doesn't run out there to do shit. The music hits and she just stands at the top of that ramp, locks eyes with whoever's got that belt, do the fucking belt motion, let her cut a promo like the next week, and if she's cleared by the end of the month, you're set.
Yeah, you give her that moment to soak it all in.
Oh yeah. But moving on to one of the matches I talked about, that's probably going to be one of those last three matches. Oh, this is another match that I have. Oh, God. I'm so excited for this match. Fucking Will Ospreay versus MJF for the American Championship. Formerly the International Championship, formerly the All Atlantic Championship, because Tony Khan can't make up his fucking mind.
So this match has a very interesting kind of subplot to it. Um, Max has been going around defending this title actively, which I respect, of course,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what you're supposed to do with this title. He has very much embraced America as, of course, that's what the title is now. He's very much, it's America, woo, USA.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not openly going to say this and believe. Um, he's doing what's needed for that title, of course, because he's going around as a heel, getting booed, going to other countries, touting America.
Yeah.
The subplot to this match, though, before we get into what they've been saying, is things have not been going right for Will Ospreay, which is interesting
Mm-hmm.
because I feel as if Max was doing stuff to Will, the Billy Goat. He would be touting about it, right? He would be like, haha, I did this, or I did that, or I slashed your tires. But before all this happened, he was let go in the Don Callis family. He went to Don Callis.
Let go
out.
is the loose term. He
Well,
asked
no,
to
no,
leave.
he asked to leave. Don Callis said it's fine, but you owe me a favor.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what that favor is.
Nope.
We'll have to find out what it is. But again, MJF, if he was doing shady things behind the scenes, I feel like he would just openly say it.
That was part of the plot of... Oh. I just hit a crazy revelation with that too, though. Okay, I'm going to put in my Hail Mary shot now, and then I'm going to explain my work.
I'll let you cook.
My Hail Mary shot is Adam Cole comes back and either during the match fucks Max out of that belt or makes his presence known after the fact. Now, that is my Hail Mary because it is, again, through the speculation of Dirt Sheet, that Adam Cole is close to being cleared again. He's close to coming back. Now, what you just said really got me thinking that, and I've now fully convinced myself that he is coming back. Because let's rewind to the best story to come out of AEW in 2023. Who is the devil when that devil mask is stolen? And Max had verbally said on multiple occasions to multiple people who assumed he was doing the shit that if I was the one to do it, you would know. Who was actually doing the devil shit in the shadows? Adam Cole Bay. So is the man we haven't seen on TV for many months now, non-kayfabe because it's easier for him to recover if he's not traveling, but we haven't seen him in a long time on TV.
This is true.
It's very easy to go, okay, all of the things going wrong for Ospreay, yes, I believe it's probably Callis. However, if it is Adam, and it is that the devil in the shadows shit again, it would be so good. It is the reason why. But this is the match I'm excited for because I feel like if he's going to show up, he's going to show up during this match in some way, and we are going to get all of the emotion from a fucking year ago from that main event back again. And that is why I have been melting the back of my neck wearing this scarf with a fucking Adam Cole shirt on. By the way, Johnny, it got hot before we were done talking about the 0 hour.
I told you, Chris, it was going to be 5 minutes in.
It wasn't 5. It was 2.5.
You're going to get high. You can take it off.
And no, I'm committed to the bit. I've done it for an hour and 10. I'll do it for the rest of it. I'll do it for the rest of it. I'm also like hella paranoid now because there's a thunderstorm outside. So I'm sitting here like, I swear to God, I don't even want to say it. I don't want to manifest the fucking mojo. But anyways, yeah. This match is going to cook. These two are going to put on a fucking clinic. I am happy with whoever wins this title, whether Max retains or Ospreay wins it. Here's my other shot. If Adam Cole does not show up, there's one other person that could, and it's to fuck with the other side of that match. Assuming he's not in a Casino Gauntlet, which we'll get to next. It has just been very recently confirmed via Fightful Select that Ricochet has inked a multi-year deal with AEW. And as somebody who knew nothing about the outside world, like outside of the sphere of AEW, and barely knew who Ospreay was, even when he first showed up in AEW from the New Japan stuff, back when he was New Japan, the only things I'd ever heard about Will Ospreay was Ospreay Kenny Omega always cooks. And if you can find, and if you sit down to watch a match, one of the best matches to watch is Ospreay versus Ricochet in the Indies. And now we get it in AEW, and I'm very excited.
May I throw a little bit of fuel to this fire?
Go for it.
Can I send you a tweet that was sent out today?
Absolutely.
By the invisible hand of AEW.
Oh, fucking Callus is tweeting emojis, huh?
But look what it's attached to.
Okay, hold on. I gotta open this on my phone because if not, I'm gonna like break our entire layout. Hold on. So that is a tweet. So it is. God, so it is a very rosy-cheeked smiling emoji like this to a tweet from Fightful saying Ricochet has landed a multi-year agreement with AEW. Fightful Select has learned more details, including some upcoming plans for subscribers, because of course dirt sheets are behind paywalls. Anyways, but yeah, if Callis is retweeting that with that,
It's a little weird.
Ricochet, part of the Callis family, is definitely not out of the question, and is not the worst play in the world.
Because we did talk about this before rolling, that Ricochet can talk, but Callis is a mouthpiece. It's not a bad mouthpiece. You get heat immediately.
God, the Callis family would be so disgusting because you would have what, Ricochet, Takeshita, Fletcher. Is Hobbs still part of the family?
I would say I think Hobbs is still, honestly.
That's a scary group. That is a really scary group. Because you then have the absolute wall that is Hobbs. You have a hell of a striker in Takeshita and two insane high flyers.
Yeah. There's a level of cooking that faction can do, and it would be unstoppable if they got a chance to roll with it.
Oh, yeah. Abso-fucking-lutely.
But yeah, we haven't even talked about the match yet. It's the biggest thing.
I mean, I've talked a little bit, right? I've said that match is going to cook. Those two are going to put on a clinic no matter what.
I have two questions. Who wins, and does he hit the Tiger Driver? Because Max recently said, you've got one move in your chamber that could kill me, but are you man enough to hit it?
That's God. And I think about it from, like, I say knowing Max, but like understanding a little bit of how Max is wired. Mm-hmm. And he would want to be the first person to take it since Ospreay banned it from himself.
I think you lose the crowd entirely if you don't hit it, but I think the crowd loses it to the point of an Apex if he hits it. It's the biggest thing in the world. I also think there's a chance, it's not a high chance, but I think there's a chance even Max possibly hits it. Is the biggest thing. If he can do it properly is the biggest thing. Because again, if I imagine they've communicated this back and forth, that if he can hit it, he hits it, that crowd is gonna lose its shit in terms of.
I can picture this. Ospreay gets him set up for it, and he psychs himself out. Max breaks out, throws him in it, hits it, and as he goes for the that's when you hit Cole's music. And you shatter the fucking roof. I say roof, there's no roof on Wembley. You shatter the atmosphere above Wembley.
And some people aren't going to like this because it's wrestling is the biggest thing. It's the Tiger Driver. You have MJF hit him with the Tiger Driver. And keep in mind, this is one of Ospreay's aces.
Ospreay kick out.
Even better to me. No sell it.
God, no sell a Tiger Driver would be insane.
Have it be he knows this move front and back is the biggest thing in the world. This is something he's been doing forever. Have him hit it. Shit. Have it be the moment like back in the day with Ricochet where he does a flip, he just stands there and stares because he fucking knows again. Or not Ricochet, Ibushi, where Ibushi knows he is standing in the center of the ring. Have Max fuck up that far. That's kind of what I would want to do, but I also get not wanting to tarnish the move is also the biggest thing.
Yeah. But that's why I think, let Max hit it. And it's, legs up, 1, 2, that music hits, and that's when Max lets go, and he's just stunned. Or you fucking lights out the arena. Lights back. Devil Mask. Oh, yeah. Tiger Driver, 2 count. Kill the lights. The lights come back. Max has let Ospreay go. And all you get is the shot of over his shoulder. You just see the Devil Mask. And then it's just a fucking running knee. And Adam Cole hits him with a fucking boom.
I also
I'm
like
so
the
excited for
idea
this match, Johnny.
because I don't know if they're gonna bring back Undisputed Kingdom is the biggest thing. I don't know because it's been a bit. If you run Undisputed Kingdom's music, because that actually would work with the lights going out because you run that like the way. If for people who don't know how Undisputed Kingdom music kind of starts, it sounds like you're draining the power out of something. If you were to put that to a musical sound,
Yeah.
that could work, and the power goes out, lights go out. That, or of course, you just run Adam Cole's other music. It's it's a coin
I
flip.
would so want them to run his solo music just for that moment.
Yeah, that fucking literal boom.
Yeah.
But again, I think this match. Again,
I'm so excited, Johnny.
I very much keep wanting to call like these are match of the nights. We haven't gotten to the main event yet, and
No, we
it's
still have one more to talk about before we hit the main event.
yeah, and it's one of those things where like I can. This match is gonna be so good because again, you're getting Osprey at his best, of course, obviously, and
Oh,
you're
yeah.
gonna get an MJF who is going to have to again because this is a follow up match is the biggest thing. They've already competed against each other before, but it went to time basically. This is gonna be great. This is gonna be fun. This match is gonna be nasty, sick in the best type of way. I'm excited.
Oh, yeah.
So again,
so fucking good.
just real quick, Osprey or MJF?
I think it stays with Max.
I have to agree.
Because if Adam Cole comes back, there's your next challenger. If Adam Cole doesn't come back, you keep doing what you're doing with him. But that's when you reveal that all of this bad luck has been done in the back, just fucking with Will.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree fully. I don't think I wouldn't again hate Osprey winning this.
I'm not upset with either winner. That's the thing.
But I think the way you've been treating Osprey as you've been building him up like progressively, like very quickly, I think he is very soon, depending on how the Darby Allin stuff goes, very close to be soon in line for a world title run, especially Swerve, possibly still being champion, possibly.
Yeah, that is the question, eh? But we'll get to that. Circling back to Ricochet, I mentioned it earlier, of if he doesn't show up to fuck with Will during his match, he's probably debuting in the Casino Gauntlet match.
Yes.
Now, as we've said, if you're new to wrestling, you're unfamiliar with the terms, we are here to help. Casino Gauntlet match, as far as I am aware, because I've always been a little murky with exactly the ruling with this.
Same.
It's as far as I understand, it is essentially a ladder match to grab, or no, that's
No, the Gauntlet match is going to be competitor versus competitor. Whoever wins that match, next competitor comes out. Next competitor comes out.
if
So
they're doing.
basically,
I'm gonna look
it's
up.
gonna-
Hold on. I'm gonna look up the ruling because, like, I agree that's how I know WWE does it, but I don't know if that's how.
because I will say, because as of right now, number one with a bullet, number one right now is Orange Cassidy, who is number one. So I think it's gonna be Cassidy having to run the gauntlet is the biggest thing. Unless I'm entirely wrong, which again I don't mind being wrong. I think being wrong is a matter of life, and you only learn by either being right or consistently being wrong enough to where you get facts right.
Okay, this is what I was remembering. So, technically, we allegedly don't know how many entrants are in the match.
Because we only know of 6 currently.
But I'm saying in general, by kayfabe, even the commentators do not know the total number of entrants.
Ah, interesting.
Implication with it being casino is maximum 21. But the idea being, because they've always, anytime they've ever said casino, it's usually a 21 person thing. Right, because it's essentially half a deck of cards. Because they would usually do like 4 guys per suit and then 4 jokers or the wild cards or something. Anyways.
Yes.
Or 5 a suit and a joker. That's how it went. But essentially, the way it's going to work is 2 guys are going to start the match. And at randomly timed intervals, Another person's going to be added to the match. The match ends when any one person gets a pin or a submission on anybody else. It is pure free-for-all rules where the match could literally be, it could end in a one-on-one and no one else in the back gets a shot. It could go the length of 21 dudes and no one has lost yet. You have 21 people brawling it out in that ring trying to pin or submit one of the other 20 competitors.
Interesting.
Yeah, they've done these a few times recently, and a lot of people, at least from what I'm seeing on Reddit, are kind of saying, like, this is their own creative take. Like, this is not the same, but where WWE has the Rumble and has that format down to a science, this is what AEW's best comparison would be.
Which, again, I firmly believe, because this is for a shot at the AEW title, correct?
Yes, Casino Gauntlet for a future world title shot.
I think we're probably both in agreement who's going to win this. Depending on this, again, this heavily depends on main event, but I feel like this is Adam Page's to lose.
Yeah.
That man has come back and he wants to fight everyone who's standing in the way of him and Swerve.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone in this match, technically, up until that point, because this match is definitely going to happen before the world title match.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to be standing in the way of Swerve, and he will beat, mangle, and murder anyone standing in the way. He already almost tried to kill Evil Uno, and that was even before the match.
Yeah. So somebody I just see reading through this, they brought up a great point. From a kayfabe perspective, this is better than a Rumble because you do not have to outlast 29 other people. If you're skilled, you can end it instantly.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about being the Iron Man in the Rumble and doing an hour in the ring. You can cut that shit into a 2-minute match and take your shot and get your title shot. But yeah, confirmed entrants into the Casino Gauntlet so far. Orange Cassidy, Mark Briscoe, Kyle O'Reilly, Evil Uno, Roderick Strong, Hangman Adam Page. Now, if Ricochet does not come to fuck with Will, he's probably going to debut in this match.
Yes, easiest debut.
Thinking about it, this might also be where Okada is.
Probably. It's a very easy layup. You send out the best that you have that are not on the card that are healthy. Just go, hey, you guys got 20 minutes. Go make a show of it.
And you also get the fun part of Hangman having to deal with Uno and Hangman having to deal with Okada to get to Swerve is such poetic justice in trying to get past the people that used to help him that he hurt and trying to get past the people who he's hurt that tried to help him.
Yes. Very much so.
And on top of that, you've got Roderick and Kyle.
Yeah.
Which is another old set of history in the world.
Well, Chris, where's Bobby Fish?
Bobby Fish dug his grave a long time ago, and you know it.
He did. Where's the lie?
Even better, I'm pretty sure Orange Cassidy and Ricochet had a match in the Indies, too.
Probably. Realistically. Well, because you look at PWG, honestly, it's a lot of characters there that probably end up facing each other. Because again, as Cass used to be an ant and one used to be a puma, animals collide all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is very much, unless something very heavy and surprising happens, depending on it again, the main event, you have Hangman finally win one. Because he's been losing a lot since he's been back, is the biggest thing. Because he's getting blinded by anger.
Yeah, you have there are so many people you could put in this. Like returning people or people we haven't seen in months.
Yeah.
That would make this match so exciting. Now, the fun question. Do you think it goes to the full alleged 21 people? Because it's Wembley.
I think it's going to be allegedly 21 people. I don't think it ever goes to 21 people. I think that would be
insane.
Again, not insane or foolish. I just think you say, hey, there could be possibly up to 21 competitors, and we're just maybe 11 or whatever, maybe 10 or 11, and then you just say there's there's 12 still in the back or 10 still in the back, and then you just wrap it. at that point.
Yeah, because it'd be hard because of the fact that, like, with a Rumble, it's easy. You throw 8 guys in there, one leaves, another comes out. You funnel out until 30 are done.
Yeah.
But because there's no elimination, how do you squeeze 21 dudes into a ring at the same time and have room to do anything?
Yeah, and get that one pinfall submission off.
Yeah. It would just be a bunch of people trying to pull off, like, rear naked chokes just in an attempt because you couldn't do any other move.
Yeah, so again, I think it's rumored that we get a bunch of competitors, but I think maybe it's max out at 11 or 12.
Yeah. Any other Hail Mary names outside of, almost said Roderick, outside of Ricochet that might show up in that, you think?
Wardlow.
Fair.
Just to be a big meaty man, I think Wardlow is going to be thrown in there. Or possibly, if I had to throw one other Hail Mary in there, I think you throw Fletcher in there. Not really a Hail Mary, but I think you throw Fletcher in there.
Yeah, Fletcher's not a bad one.
Or Takeshita. You
Yeah.
throw high level talent that's just not on the card. I want to say Mox, but he's on vacation. I hope he's enjoying it too.
Yeah, Mox would be another Hail Mary because it's the only he's the only one at a Combat Club that's not going to be here this year.
Yeah, but again, he's on vacation. He's resting his body, and
Yeah.
I hope he's enjoying it. But yeah, I think it's very shallow of a Hail Mary, but a very shallow pull for Hail Mary shots. But I think we may get one or two.
Yeah, this is the match that I'm afraid I mentioned at the start. A lot of exciting returns and exciting debuts and one scary one. There's a lot of rumor that fucking Shane McMahon might be signing with them, and God, I hope to God he does not show up in this match.
No.
Like, if those rumors are true and he's cutting a deal, please just let it be a backstage role. I don't want to see him. I don't want to interact with it.
Or just have it be an appearance type of thing. I want it to be the smallest, least important thing that we can possibly get.
Show him up in the stands like you did Monet last year.
Yeah. Be like, oh, that's crazy. A McMahon is here.
Yeah, good old Shane O'Mac, because they probably wouldn't fucking acknowledge his real name.
Yeah, just call him Shane or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, I just don't want him around.
I will say there are a few other names we could throw around that technically could show up.
Would you like to share with the class?
The fucking Hurt Syndicate or whatever the fuck they were called.
Bobby
Lashley and the boys.
Bobby Lashley is a very interesting case because I think he would work in AEW because he's just a big meaty man and he has experience is the biggest thing. MVP, of course, you also get that contract. I think if Bobby Lashley gets that call, and I understand this man has been doing work with my boy's Top Flight. I think you realign him with Leo Rush because they ran that a bit in WWE before Leo got the boot. I think that would work better because Leo can still go to high caliber. Nothing against MVP. I like MVP. That one wouldn't be a bad one. I also would like to possibly see a disgruntled wrestler or two from the previous matches that kind of got upset or annoyed, and they forced their way into this match to possibly win a title shot.
Yeah,
like a lot of the tag team competitors in that 12-man,
possibly a broken up Castor Bowens.
Yeah, just like a Caster, or be like, oh, I'm still the best wrestler and everything, and he just goes out there. But it's very hard to say. I don't think there could be ever a moment. Okay, there's like one wrestler I wouldn't want to see in this because I'm just not a fan. It's Brian Cage. I don't want to see Brian Cage. But there's a lot of competitors I think deserve a shot. Is the biggest thing that they deserve to be at Wembley. Is the big thing. Like Evil Uno is the best example for. He deserves to be at Wembley.
Oh yeah.
And I hope we get that. Maybe even Silver. Throw him out there.
You know what? Just let all the Dark Order. Just let them go out as one body. Count all three dudes as one entity.
Just in a trench coat. I could see that if they were. Still
yeah, the Dark Order in a trench coat as one wrestler. God, give me Dark Order in a trench coat versus Satnam Singh because they're about the same height at that point.
Yeah. Or maybe you even.
It's Uno, Reynolds, Silver. That's how you stack them.
You just put a wrestler in my mind that might be in that match now. Might have Jeff Jarrett be in that match. He has
Yeah,
issues
I
with
mean,
Hangman.
here's the thing, if you need filler bodies, here's who you go to when you need a few extra bodies in a gauntlet or a rumble style match in AEW. You
Yeah.
grab Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt, Satnam Singh, any of that stack. You grab the Butcher, the Blade, Kip Sabian. Like,
There's a lot of bodies you have that you can just throw out there. And again, I like Jeff Jarrett as a possibility because Hangman literally came back and just pissed off a bunch of people, which is
yeah,
understandable. He's disgruntled, he's angry, he's mad. So again, you throw out every possible person that he's had beef with since he's been back, or he's pissed off, or he's beaten down. You just throw him in the ring, and just
yeah.
have him work out his feelings, possibly.
Let Hangman just go through a revenge era tour of just, I'm going to beat the shit out of every person here that I dislike.
But yeah, I think if it's not Hangman, then I don't truly know who it's gonna be. The biggest thing.
Yeah,
Maybe Cassidy, but I think it's Hangman's to lose.
yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think. Here's a fun. I guarantee this isn't right, but I'm going to throw out this question. How long ago was it that Kenny told us he had to go for surgery?
4 months.
Damn it! I know he said he'd be out for like 6. In my head, I'm like, is there a timeline in which Kenny comes out?
Well, the reports again. This is heavy on reports that he's close, but he's still dealing with pain. Is the
Yeah.
biggest thing.
So, in addition to that, actually, reported by, oh god, I can't think of his name. Their other buddy, not Cutler, the other guy that was always with them, Nakamura. I think is his name. When they used to do BTE, the other guy.
I know who you're referencing. Yes.
So he put out a Reddit post, actually, talking about how Kenny's doing because he had, because he was over there at one point. Let me see if I can find it quick. Give me a minute, because he talks about like some of what Kenny's been going through with it. Because I think they found a way to do it without putting him in too much, like,
Overall stress, I'm guessing.
Yeah, let me see. Okay. So this was a translated interview posted on Fightful. Michael Nakazawa, not Nakamura, Nakazawa, that's his name, gives an update on Kenny's health. He said, quote, fortunately, he was able to find a good doctor who could treat it without opening his abdomen. And recently, he underwent the surgery. He's currently recovering. However, it seems the surgery involved removing about 25 centimeters of the affected colon. He's now unable to put strength in his abdomen. However, I was impressed when I saw him walking on his own, even though it was a major surgery that would normally make it difficult for him to walk. By the way, Kenny has a cat named Dobby, and since he couldn't bend down to clean his litter box, I went over to help him. After that, little by little, he has been able to do physical training. He's still not able to lift the same weights as before, so he's trying to find the best training that he can do while incorporating rehabilitative elements such as walking and exercising in the pool, and he's working hard towards recovery. He's trying to find the best training he can do at the moment. So, it's going to be, he's going to probably have to wrestle a very different style than he's done, especially if he can't put a lot of strength into his abdomen, because he's going to lose a lot of that core strength. Which the only thing that's sketchy about that, like Kenny's moveset isn't too bad for that. The only problem with that is you need core strength to lift him up for a one wing.
You also just need core strength to lift people up in general, so you don't hurt them.
But my point being, Kenny doesn't do a lot of lifting.
No, I know. But it's like even for like basic like suplex and stuff, you just in case you have to pull them out, you want to make sure you don't hurt the other individual.
The only moves I can think of that Kenny does pretty regularly that I think would be really impacted by not being able to get that core strength back, unless he can find a way to do it, is his Snapdragons and the one winged.
Yeah, and I don't think he's ever going to give up the one wing is the biggest thing.
No. I don't think he'd give up the Snapdragons either. Those things are, God, they're
so
but
it's one of the things where
between the two, if he had to pick one, he's keeping the one winged angel.
Yeah. But I hope he comes back.
God, I hope he comes back. I hope he comes back and he's able to run for a while and not come back, disappear, come back, disappear.
I don't want him to ping pong back and forth. I don't want him to.
I would rather have 2 years. I would rather have 2 full years of AEW content without seeing Kenny Omega if it meant we could get him for another 4 consistently. Yeah. I'd be willing to make that trade.
He has been very much missed, obviously, but the biggest issue is you've been building talent around everyone else. They've been featuring so many more wrestlers, more individuals that have earned that top spot, and I'm okay with that. Again, I
Oh, yeah.
want him fully healthy, not just because on a wrestling standpoint. I'm always again,
For the
I
human
want him to
behind
be
it.
the human behind it. If he has to retire tomorrow, but he's able to be happy, good,
Hmm.
genuinely good. He's not having to put stress on his body anymore. He's not having to go out there and be in physical pain.
Yeah.
But I do hope he comes back because I know he wants to come back and
I hope
he
he
is
comes
able
back.
to go.
I hope he comes back for two two reasons that are very selfish. Obviously, I want him to be able to come back because he wants to. I want him to come back because A, I want to see him live, and B, if the cards play out right, I would love to have a match against him. I would want to wrestle him so bad, dude. That's
That
like
is
he is a
entirely
dream match
valid.
for me. He is a dream match for me if I ever got to that point, or when I get to that point, however you want to phrase it. But
Just just to be like either like in the ring with him or just having him like training and you just pick at that brain.
yeah.
What to do here? What would you do here? How would you handle this?
Hmm.
Just because again, that is a gentleman, that is an individual. It's like, hey, I need to know what I need to do and how to do it to a successful rate. And if I can't do it, what would you do differently? And then you go from
Hmm.
there, you roll from there. Because he's a teacher of the game, he's a student of the game, and he has given his body so long for this company and for just companies in general that I think he would be such a blessing to also meet because he's such a kind-hearted individual.
Oh yeah. All right.
Okay.
Is it main event time? Is it the next probably 40 minutes?
It is time for the main event.
I'm gonna say this up front. I'm not happy with how this match has been set up.
Okay, so I'm gonna say this now, and I don't mean it. The build up to this match has sucked, and not in a bad way. The build up to this match is like, hey, probably gonna be my last match. Hey, I kind of need surgery. Hey, my daughter doesn't want me to do this anymore. Hey, I haven't signed a contract and I've been freelancing this stuff for basically a month. And then you have Swerve.
Yeah. So it's Brian Danielson versus Swerve Strickland, and it is booked as career versus title. If Danielson wins, he's world champion. If Swerve wins, allegedly, Danielson will never wrestle a match ever again, regardless it here or anywhere else. And this would have been fucking killer if this man didn't come out 6 months ago and go, hey, when my daughter hit this age, I was going to hang up the boots full, or I was going to hang up. Because the narrative's fucking changed. Because when he first walked out there all those months ago, he said, when my daughter turned, I think it was 6, I promised my daughter when she turned, it was either 4 or 6, whatever she's turning now.
She's
But
7.
she's 7? Okay, so when my daughter turns 7, I would stop wrestling. Well, this year she turned 7. And he announced this, and this was his, like, I'm going to go out just putting on the best matches I can, and that's why he fought Zack Sabre. That's why he's fought all of these, like, he's been hitting dream match after dream match. And it's been essentially the retirement tour. But the way he worded it in the ring was, I will not wrestle after her birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Then, like 2 weeks later, he starts talking in interviews that he's like, yep, it's legit. It's not just a story thing. I am done wrestling full time. And there was that extra caveat. And everyone went, okay, so he's not going to wrestle full time. No worries. WWE's got part timers. He'll be an AEW part timer. We'll see him here or there for a match, maybe with Combat Club, yada yada, all of this. Then it comes out later, and he's like, yeah, he's like, this is my last professional wrestling contract. And they're like, okay, no worries. He'll ride it out post Wembley. He'll be good. Well, the contract ended before Wembley. So now we know he's freelancing it. He's free agenting it. Then they come out and they go, hey, I'm going to put my career on the line. Bitch, you've spent the last 8 months telling us you're leaving. This doesn't give me hope for your chances of winning this match, my guy. Like, it has, because of how much they've brought it up before this point, you have shattered the illusion that, like, okay, 99.9% of wrestling fans know the outcome's predetermined already. We know this. But it's fun to not have any guess as to who's going to win it.
Yeah.
But when you lay out the cards of current world champion, your first African American champion who has done so much to get himself over the past year, versus the uncontracted man on injury who's made promises to his children, who do you think we think is going to win?
Danielson. No, I'm being genuine. I think Danielson's going to win, and I don't want him to win. No. Here's the thing. I very much, 99.99%, I want Swerve to win. He deserves it. But everything we've been hearing from his daughter to... And again, only reason I know she's 7 is because I saw that today. It's a genuine thing. Mm-hmm. I don't keep up with that. I don't care for his kids, but I mean that. When I mean I don't care for his kids, I don't want to think about his kids. They're his kids. They're not mine. I just think you put so much. I'm retiring. I'm not contracted. I need surgery or whatever. All of this is like, yeah, he shouldn't win. He's not gonna win. He's probably not gonna win. I have been watching this stupid sport for way too long, and I can't say with all certainty Swerve's gonna win. If I had to put money on this match, I would unfortunately put on Danielson, because everything is writing him off. But I still think Danielson wins, unfortunately.
But I'm gonna throw you this question. Actually, I'm not even going to throw you the question. I'm going to throw you this statement. I can guaranteed tell you who is going to win this match by who wins the gauntlet.
Yeah.
Because if Hangman wins the gauntlet, why the fuck would Danielson beat Swerve?
No.
Hangman cares about Swerve. Yes, he cares about the belt, but at that point, he goes, okay, I'm going to hold on to this title shot because I don't care anymore. Yeah. If Hangman wins the gauntlet, Swerve retains in main event.
Yeah.
It has to go that way.
Yeah. Again, that's the key word though. Has to. I am very much in the boat of Swerve. I love Swerve. I have been, as you know, a fan of him since day one. Mm-hmm. I just can't, with all the chips on the table, say he's going to win, because it's Danielson and it's everything is on the line. If he loses, I'm fine with it. If he wins, I'm fine with it. But I think it's one of those things where it's like you're constantly writing him off way too much for him not to have a possibility of winning this match.
I just had a horrible thought. And I'm going to say this, and it is the most Tony Khan level booking about what I'm going to say. Because of one other thing. We haven't brought this up yet because it should not have fucking mattered. What match is Darby Allin in tonight, or on Sunday?
Oh, he's in a title match.
Yeah. For the TNT title that he grabbed. What happened the week after Blood and Guts? Or the Rampage of Blood and Guts?
We talked about this a few weeks ago because we thought it was a mistake is the biggest thing. Because you were like, oh, this is weird. Why would they do this? It's still weird to me because technically he's vying for the TNT title, but he also has an AEW World title match.
Exactly. He won the Royal Rampage, which gave him a title shot, I believe, for World's End.
Yeah. It's
World's End or All Out, one of the two.
I think it's All Out. I feel like World's End would be way too far, but I could also be wrong.
Okay. The Casino Gauntlet match is for a world title shot. You know what's gonna fucking happen? Danielson's gonna win the belt. He's then going to retire, vacate the belt, and all of those title shots are going to be entrance into a fucking ladder match. Swerve will burn his rematch clause to be an entrant. Darby has one. Hangman would have one. You throw 3 or 4 other dudes in there, and you know he would book it like that.
You're not wrong.
And that's the fucking shitty part, because you're going to take the belt off of Swerve just so Hangman can beat the shit out of him in a ladder match where neither of them will win.
Yeah. Again, because that's what I'm saying. You can't write off Danielson because you look at everything that's against him, and then you look at who's booking, because you learn it's one of the biggest things where Khan has been a student of the game with wrestling booking. You watch how he's booked a lot of things. It's familiar, but it tries to be different, but it's still familiar. That's one reason, again, you can't write off Danielson, because with everything against him, it doesn't matter for him, is the biggest thing. It matters by the guy in the back who's booking everything. And he's like, why not give him the fairy tale ending he deserves? But he doesn't have to hold on to that title.
Even though the fact Danielson has openly said he did not want to be in a story like this.
Yeah.
Because he didn't care about winning that belt. He didn't need that belt before he retired.
No, because...
So I'm hoping to God that Danielson went to Tony and went, look, I will do the match and we can throw this weird stip on it to make Swerve over, and let Swerve be my retirement match.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But like, I can see it. I can see it in my mind. I can see through the wide-eyed fucking scope that is Tony Khan's fucking like 890-degree FOV. Because Jesus Christ, that man doesn't blink. Where it's like, give him a title shot, give him a title shot, give him a title shot, give this man the title, have him drop it. All of those title shots are burned in the one pay-per-view. We run a big-ass ladder match at All Out. We get a new world champion. Danielson was a champ for 7 days. And we move on. And it's like, I hate that that's going to be a possibility, man. And it bothers me so much, because it's like, it cheapens so much, because it cheapens Swerve's reign. It cheapens Danielson as a whole, and it cheapens the title. It's the same issues we fucking had when Joe just decided to beat Keith Lee and then drop the TV title in ROH.
Yeah.
It was the same problem. He had the belt. He was the longest reigning TV champ, to then just go, you know what, I'm bored of it, and just fucking dip it. It's like, why not have Keith Lee beat him and put Keith Lee over? That
to me will always be such a mistake, and I hate it, because
he's gonna make it again, Johnny. He's gonna make it again in front of 70,000 people this time.
It's one of those things where this is a heavily this is a possibility, is the biggest thing. And I will say this, notice the difference between your temperament towards this and my temperament towards this. I've seen this.
And I don't want to. That's my problem.
No. And you shouldn't have to have that possibility. This shouldn't be in your head to be like, it's an even match. But wrestling can be really good. Wrestling could be top tier. But sometimes someone backstage gets in their own fucking head a bit too much and wants to do a fairy tale ending where the good guy goes out on top, he rides off into the sunset. Yay. But, and you mentioned this earlier, Danielson didn't want the title. Why? Because he just doesn't want it. You want to know who else kind of didn't want to do that near the end of their career? Shawn Michaels. Because he didn't want to deal with it, because again, belts didn't matter to him at that point. And a lot of the times belts shouldn't have to matter if you're going to be Danielson. You're going to be the best wrestler on the planet. You're going to fucking kick people's heads in. And it's one of those things where, hey, guess who trained who is the biggest thing. Probably kind of where you got it from. And again, I want Danielson to go out on top, but I don't think he should have to go out on top in a title match. Especially possibly winning the title is the biggest thing.
Yeah, like it just it bothers me so much because it's like Swerve has done so much since coming to AEW to get himself to the position he's at.
He's done everything right.
Danielson came in with a resume and an aura. And not discrediting what he's done. That's not what I'm saying with this.
No. Not at all.
That is two people that both left WWE and came over. One was immediately embraced and immediately excited for. The other had to fucking claw their way to where they were in terms of the way the fans view him. Right.
Yeah, no,
like,
I fully agree.
And that's why it hurts, because it's like, yes, Danielson should be able to retire in a phenomenal fucking way. But it shouldn't be at the expense of the guy who's going to be here next week.
That's what I've always said and will always say. Put over the guy who's going to be there next week.
That was the whole issue with fucking Cena and Theory at Mania. In Mania 38.
Yeah. Because it is so hard for the guy that's going to be there the next week when he loses.
Yeah.
Because the guy who wins could be doing whatever he wants, whenever he wants, and it doesn't matter to him.
There has to be some degree of bullshit to make this story matter after the fact. Like, if Danielson is the one that's going to win this, Swerve has to lose by some bullshit means.
Yeah.
But again, I stand by this. If Hangman wins that Casino Gauntlet, like, I am in the camp of, before we started talking about this, knowing what the match was, I was 100% Swerve was going to win. As we talked about it, that dropped back to a very scary 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
If Hangman wins the gauntlet, that goes back to Swerve is winning that. It doesn't matter how, Swerve is winning it.
Yeah. But it's just, I really wish I could just be like, Hangman's gonna win, I mean, Swerve's gonna win. But it's just, I can't wait until we're talking about this after the fact. And either we're gonna be angry, annoyed, or just be like, yeah, Swerve won, woo! And that's it. Is the biggest thing.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna say it right now. Obviously, we do not make any money off of these, so demonetization doesn't matter because we don't make shit anyways. Mm-hmm. If Danielson wins and they set up some stupid bullshit on, like, you know, if Danielson wins and immediately drops the title, fucking the next episode after this, mark my words, I'm gonna open it. You're not gonna get the intro. I'm just gonna go, God damn it. That's how I'm opening it. If Danielson fucking if he wins and insta drops the title, that's how I'm opening it. If he wins it and keeps it and we get a freelance run for a little bit, okay, there's room to work with that. But if he wins it and by come Dynamite that week, he goes, yep, I need surgery. My kid's older now. Bye. I'm gonna fucking lose it. I'm gonna fucking lose it. I'm still stoked for this match because, like, these two are phenomenal wrestlers. And it is going to be a hell of a match. And Swerve deserves to be in that main event at Wembley because he's put in the fucking work. Mm-hmm. And Danielson's entrance is going to cook in front of that many people. And I'm still stoked to have been part of a yes movement to get him into this title shot. But fuck, I need him to lose. I need him to lose. Yeah, I don't know how it's going to go. I know how I want it to go, and I'm so afraid now.
I'm sorry, Chris. I didn't want to be that person that put those thoughts in your head, but again, it's something you can't fully look at and go, yeah, of course, without having that little voice going, what if?
Yeah, honestly.
Because that's what wrestling is booking wise. Like, what if we do put this guy over?
Hmm.
What if we do have her win the title? What if we have a brother of two other brothers turn on each other, and then that sets up the next decade of wrestling?
Yeah.
It's it is the butterfly effect to the highest degree because you don't know, and there's always going to be what ifs.
Hmm. Speaking of butterfly effects, I want to bring this up. I haven't watched the video yet. I keep getting a recommended a video that is literally the domino effect of how the Montreal Screwjob led to Danielson winning at, I think, 30 or whatever it was that he won the title at. It is like
Yeah,
it is like a 14-minute video of how those dominoes landed to that point.
well,
And
it's also one of those things where like that's a big domino effect. You also look at like the Stone Cold injury that had him out for an entire year,
yeah,
or even after that point, Triple H getting hurt before the invasion angle. There's a lot of what ifs out there that just like what truly would have happened that
hmm
you don't think of.
yeah. But yeah, I'm so excited for Sunday. I've been working 7 days straight. It's my first day off, and I get to spend it with a bunch of homies just watching All In.
I
It's gonna be good. And even
I
better, next year's is gonna be at a decent time zone for once. I don't have to get up at
I
9 a.m.
I can't wait because again, it was one of those things where it's like, oh shit, it's whatever. But it's at noon on a Sunday. I'll have a good amount of time before I have other things, so I can hang out with the boys, hang out with the friends, hang out with the homies, and just
Hmm.
shoot this shit and enjoy wrestling. Because at the end of the day, wrestling is so much better with friends than it is alone. And I'm not
Oh yeah,
saying it sucks being alone as well, but it's like if you could be in a call watching wrestling or just something you're passionate about with people that you love and care, it's so fun.
it is getting those reactions and getting, especially it's the same energy as like when you get all your friends together to watch like football or hockey, and there's one person who's rooting for the opposite team. It builds such a fun environment. So especially going into matches where like your favorite's up against your friend's favorite, and it's 20 minutes of you losing your mind with somebody you care about, it's so fun.
Yeah,
But
it's gonna
yeah,
be great.
God,
Any
it's gonna be so good.
closing remarks or just overall just thoughts?
Uh, yeah, thank God they moved it all out like a few days late. Like they moved it a little further than they did last year.
Yeah, because it was like what next Wednesday, right? It's like that Wednesday.
Yeah, it was like because last year's All In, it was like All In, like 7 days later, All Out, and I think there's a little bit more of a gap now.
It's not a good look, honestly. It's like you got to give it just a little bit of time to let what just happened marinate
Yeah.
and let them, the next week.
I'm also gonna say, shout out to fucking Triller, where I buy all my pay-per-views from, putting out a bundle pack, so I got both for $20 cheaper than I would have originally.
Yeah.
It was so nice. I pay like 40 USD per pay-per-view.
Ooh.
I got both for like I think 56 or something.
It's not bad.
It was, yeah, compared to dropping like, especially because I'm in Canadian, so 40 USD is like a small house for me. So
And I will openly say the rumor mill is still churning on another deal that might go through, possibly with Max, possibly with HBO, but we'll have to get there before we can truly
there's
tout
also
about
rumors
how.
that Tony's possibly buying fucking Warner Brothers Discovery. Apparently,
I don't want that man knowing Bugs Bunny. I don't want that
well, I
man.
don't know. Well, that's the thing. He wouldn't own Warner Brothers. He would own
No,
Warner Brothers Discovery, which means he would
no.
own the network that he's on, and he would
I
pull
mean,
a reverse. I think it's a reverse ECW.
technically that would make him on the same level as Ted Turner, which would be interesting because Turner, of course, own TNT and TBS. Ironically enough, the networks he's on.
Yeah.
But hey, again, we have to get there first because again, we're
Yeah.
still about 36 hours out.
Yeah, I gotta
35
get through
hours.
one. I gotta get through one more shift.
And hey, I'm off till Tuesday.
You son of a bitch.
Listen, it's been a long week, so you know I'm
Amen.
happy.
Yeah. But regardless, to everybody who's still here after 2 hours of rambling, thank you so much for watching as always. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Leave a comment with your predictions for the card and what you think is going to happen. Throw your Hail Marys in there, by all means. Subscribe to keep up on all of this. Eventually, I'll get the rest of those My GM videos out. Like I said, I've been very busy. But eventually, we will get caught up with that. Eventually, John and I will record more.
Yeah. Like, I wish this was our job all the time.
God, I wish too.
Stuff constantly.
Yeah. But regardless, homies, thank you as always. And I hope you enjoy All In as much as we will. We'll see you in the next one. Boy.